Hi, good morning. It's 9:38 a.m. It is April 21st, and I believe it's Tuesday today. And like I said, time's going by so fast. It just seems like yesterday I lost my job illegally and put me in this situation. My time goes by fast. Anyway, so it's morning, and I'm just gonna kind of figure out what to do. I need to get out of the house, and as you know, I was gifted a bicycle, a used bicycle, but it's a bicycle nonetheless, and I'm very grateful to have it. So I will probably get out of the house and pedal myself around a little bit. Just do not much sunlight, but I need to get out of the house. It is very depressing. I know I'm not riding my bicycle because I'm trying to be on some sort of fitness program. It's becoming a mode of transportation for me and also a form of recreation. Um, but the very fact that I even have to explain that is kind of ridiculous. I'm not really a health fitness buff. I'm not. I mean, I'm not somebody who wants to go and. I mean, if somebody gave me a gym membership, I would probably go. But my experience, my knowledge on gym equipment is pretty limited, and really, I don't like being at the gym. I've been to gyms before, and it's not something that I would prefer to do. So, no, there's a lot of people who talk, and like to run their mouths or whatever, but they're wrong. But if that was my choice, that would be my choice. So, you get all these people, they like to gossip and whatever. But anyway, I'm trying to put that behind me now and stop talking about things of the past and just move forward with my life in whatever direction that goes. And I knew I need to make some decisions quickly because time is running out and I need to do something. But anyway, I wanted to make this video today because I'm calling this video 5150. And for those who don't know what 5150 is, it is a code that is used in California. Let me get you the correct definition for that. 5150 refers to the California Law Code for the temporary involuntary psychiatric commitment of individuals who present a danger to themselves or others due to signs of mental illness. It has been more generally applied to people who are considered threatening, unstable, or crazy. Obviously, that's not me. But I do believe that my ex family, as well as Joel's family, was assumed because I wasn't like them or whatever that I must be crazy. When you are dealing with, and I'm not pointing fingers, I want to put all this to rest. I just want to get on with my life. But this refers to a lot of people who are targeted individuals and the false assumption that if we think so highly of our daily routines and our daily lives, that we are comfortable with it and it becomes a systematic form of living, normal to us, whatever. So when we look at other people, sometimes we think, well, they're not doing what we're doing. That seems abnormal. And then it gets to the point where it's abnormal, and now this person must be crazy because they don't do the same thing that another person does. That's a title that people throw on a lot of targeted individuals, because there's a lot of misunderstandings about how people live their life or whatever. Um, no, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy at all. I will say that I am mentally taxed out because of the situation that I've been in. Much like a person who finds themselves in a chaotic or abusive situation where they might be normal or more mentally sound, and then once they deal with all this chaos, then they start dealing with all kinds of mental issues, although my mental issues are not something that's going to harm other people or myself. My mental issues are dealing more with confusion relating to anxiety, stress, depression, and these sort of things. It's not like I'm going to like rage out on anybody. I know better than that. I'm not distanced. My mind has not detached or distanced from reality. Like I know that there are consequences. I understand that I'm dealing with a particular reality. This is, I know how to behave myself. So no, I'm not crazy. Some people might say I'm a little eccentric, which I have the right to be. I don't look at myself as eccentric. This is my life. This is normal to me. But I will say that I do have a different way of thinking. And I think that my way of thinking has helped me a lot. It helps me think through things. I like to analyze, pick apart things or whatever. But that's my choice. You know what I mean? It's my choice. And but anyway, so when targets are uh, gossiped about. Oftentimes they do use these like rumors with this person's crazy, you know. No, not crazy at all. I do have my head on my shoulders, but I am dealing with a lot of, depression and anxiety. And, I went to bed last night and I was thinking how, I've been deprived of so much in my life, beyond my control because of people who were too grabbing. I'm not just necessarily referring to my ex family, I'm just talking about people in general who felt as though it was normal to interfere with my life, my decisions, or whatever. Um, and really, when I think about it, it angers me because, they don't realize that there's supposed to be boundaries. So the people who point the fingers at you, telling you you have to correct your behavior, this is what you're doing wrong, blah, 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 are the ones who are actually doing things that are wrong. I will say that for people who are disabled, whether that be like mentally, because of mental health issues relating to abuse or whatever, or people who are born with some sort of mental disability, like, for example, the mentally retarded, or people who have been emotionally stunted in some way, I do have compassion, more compassion for them now than I have ever. Because obviously I'm not one of those people, but I can see how these people get treated, how they are completely disregarded and mistreated in society, just based on this right here, how their opinions and their personal needs, wants, desires are completely overlooked, undermined, and how these people find themselves in situations that are very abusive. And it's very sad. Like, I realized now how these people feel. We don't, as a society, we tend to, we tell our kids, don't make fun of people who are less fortunate than you. But as adults, this is what they do all day long. They build a system on this sort of abuse, and it's very sad. It's unspoken. It's something that no one's ever going to talk about out in public, but it's true. And I understand that. Who knows what's going to happen in my future, like what kind of work I'll be doing or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? It would be great if I could do something that is a benefit, like, what do you call it? I don't know, like, if I could work for a particular charity or something, I don't know, what I'm going to be doing. I'm just basically having to look for whatever kind of job I can find. But, and then there's also issues of me dealing with all this depression and all this other stuff. So I have a lot on my plate. I have a lot on my plate. So I have to figure some things out. But, I will say that I am more compassionate towards people who are not mentally fit, who are being abused even by their own families. Because their families tend to think of them as, just as dead weight, and they tend to bully these people. And there really should be more programs available for these sort of people. And then also, not just that, but taking this into consideration. I mean, a really hard look at how these people are treated in society, and even looking at the families of these people. I mean, this really needs to be looked at closely, because for many years, the reason why I was dealing with so much abuse is because people insisted that they needed to correct my behavior. There was nothing wrong with my behavior. Yeah, I have every right to be. If I'm a little different, if I have little hobbies or interests, that's fine, okay? But for many years, these people tried to correct my behavior that didn't need to be corrected. And I understand exactly what that feels like, for someone to abuse you, to belittle you, to make you feel as though you have no rights. I feel I feel a very strong sense of compassion for those people who suffer, probably by their own families, and that's very sad. But anyway, so I have decided to not drive as much. I mean, I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety behind the wheel. I tend to have a lot of flashbacks while I'm driving. And I was asked, is it because you feel like you want to ram into traffic, or like, no, it's not that. It's just that I tend to lose focus, and my anxiety attacks start to come over me when I'm dealing with, the flashbacks of being threatened. And it is threatening. It's life threatening when people are harassing you at work and dangling your life and future over your head, and it's a very traumatizing experience. It's like somebody putting a gun to your head. For people who don't understand that, I'm trying to make it very clear. That's why harassment is such a, they talk about, like, you'll go to these seminars at work or wherever, and you'll have this like specialist or authority, I don't know, we wouldn't call them authority, but somebody who's supposed to talk about sexual harassment or racial harassment or religion or any harassment in general. And they'll talk about, this is some sick, sticky stuff. They will tell you that, but they won't tell you exactly how sick and twisted and weird it can get. This is how sick and twisted it can get. Okay? To where a person is mentally, annihilated based off of the foolishness and incompetencies of many people. And this is the sad part, is that, all this training that people go through, it goes in one ear and out the other. Because something happens in the midst of this mob mentality, and people forget everything that they were trained, or they don't understand how that applies. And their inability to comprehend what I consider to be basic stuff can be disastrous. So yeah, I'm not really happy about that. I'd like to find, ideally, I'm not really concerned about, I just need a job, but I don't want to work for companies that are just a mess. Just a mess. Okay. I mean, I've gone through that before, where people can be easily manipulated. They're not, professional, and they involve themselves in stuff like this. This is not something I want. You know what I mean? I want to work for a company that I understand. And I'm not saying that I'm not holier than thou. I'm not somebody who doesn't want to have fun, because I do like having fun. Okay, but I don't believe in bullying. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable to bully people. It's not acceptable to play these sort of games. It's just something that, I want to work. You know what I mean? And working involves work. And of course, you have, friendly exchanges. Of course, the world of the office or environment has completely changed. It's going to be changing even more now that we have this bullshit coronavirus thing going on, okay? So things are changing rapidly, okay? But, when it comes to how people interact with other people, there needs to be more professionalism. There definitely needs to be, and more focusing on evaluating the work and the workload, more so than focusing on people's personal lives or gossip that surrounds that person. I just wish that I could see those sort of changes, and that would be great. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and take off and get out of the house for a while, because I'm really tired of being cooped up here. I'm really tired of it. And I've been out of work since December, and I'm just, there's not a day that goes by I don't think about, how messed up this is, how messed up it is. I think about it every day, and it's hard not to. Because I've encountered too many people that, going to job interviews and stuff like that, who foolishly allow themselves to be manipulated into this sort of stuff without maybe they don't fully realize what they did, okay? But I'm going to tell you, what you did was wrong. What you did was wrong. Legally, morally, every way you look at it. And, I know there's a lot of companies out there that insist, saying, well, we want to, you go ahead and do things your way. If we have the right to do things your way. And you know what? Those are the kind of companies I want to avoid, okay? The thing is that anytime somebody thinks it's okay to trample on your human rights or participate in keeping you in a marriage that you have every right to walk away from, or presenting you or assisting people that you are terrified of, and you've made it publicly known that you're terrified of certain people, and they allow this to happen, and they insist that it's okay to do that, I would avoid these people, because those people, that's the same kind of mentality of somebody who wants to rape you. That's disturbing to me, extremely disturbing, and it goes right up there with sexual harassment. You know what I mean? It's terrifying. You know how somebody could do something like that. So yeah, I'm wearing my hat today and not really doing my hair. You know, there's certain things that I haven't. I really haven't done my hair, really. I mean, every day. I mean, sometimes, you know, I mess with it, but you know, like since I've been like, you know, at home or whatever, not really doing much with it or anything like that. I mean, I still try to be presentable. I mean, yes, I'm one of those people. I do care about that, you know. But it's like my hair is one of those things that I really don't want to deal with as much. I really don't, you know. I don't want to curl it. I do sometimes, but you know, I don't know. Today I was just like, whatever. Throw that hat on, and just go about my business, right? And that's what I'm trying to do. I think everything right now. I mean, I'm dealing with the anxiety, and I'm dealing with the depression, and it goes over my mind. Um, how sick, like what a sick dynamic that I grew up in, and but you know, and I'm not dwelling on the past. I'm more like thinking, how is it that I couldn't see this? Like, how is it that all these years I couldn't see that these people were putting, you know, obstacles in my path? How is it that I couldn't recognize it was coming from them all along? You know, I guess it's because it was a naive part of me that wanted to think that because I always wished them well, I assumed that they wanted to wish me well, right? That's what I assumed. But not necessarily, you know. Sometimes they're, you know, people's foolish games and need to compete can put people in life-threatening situations. And it's compulsive. Okay, that's a mental disorder. When you got people coming into your workplace, and I'm trying to put these people down, but I'm just saying is when you have people coming into your workplace stalking you, mobbing you, anytime somebody initiates a mobbing process in a person's workplace, that's generally they describe these people as mentally disturbed. So it's funny how things actually turn out. Like, you know, how people who call you crazy are actually the ones who might be a little off themselves. It's funny how things turn out. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video, get on my bicycle, enjoy what little sunlight there is. It's kind of, the sun's kind of playing peekaboo behind the clouds. Hope all you TIs are staying safe. And I'll be back with another video some other time later. Take care.